Hi, everyone. Welcome to Crossing the Threshold with leadership coaches James Wilson Jr. and J.C. Fowler, a podcast for mission-driven leaders navigating what's next in life and leadership without losing what matters most.
All right. Well, here's where we're going today, man. Rejection can bruise your confidence, but it doesn't have to bury your future.
So you say that again?
Rejection can bruise your confidence, but it doesn't have to bury your future.
Where were you like 5 years ago?
Yeah.
What? That's
Rejection, man. Rejection. So
Wow.
today, just thinking through some of that, like I'm just thinking through so many stories of
Yeah, oh my gosh.
rejection. The first one that came to mind as we thought about this rejection piece, even as a leader, I often think about the big things, right? It's the job I didn't get or
Right,
this
right.
promotion. But the one that really got me was I was growing up as a leader. I was in college. And man, it was January 2008.
Oh, you got a date on
Yeah. I
one.
remember
Okay.
it. January 2008. I was in my last. No, it was my second. I would think it might have been my last year, second to last year of school, and I was, having my dreams in my mind. Like, they tell you to go to school, get a good job, get married, have kids, and
Get
you're
the
good.
house.
So I was like, I'm in the school part. All right, let me keep going. So I'm in school. I'm dating this woman at the time, and it's great. And we're like really serious relationship. I think we had been dating for about 2 or 3 years at that point. So I said, hey, let me go and let's take this to the next step. Let's take this to the next level. So I go to the next level. I've been meeting with my girlfriend's dad, periodically. So I was like, let me have a different meeting this time. So I go sit in his office, real serious moment. And I said, hey, I'd love to have your daughter's hand in marriage.
Oh, man.
And man, I was like, I'm shaking. Even as I tell the story, I'm thinking like, I remember being that kid. I was shaking. I didn't even know what to say. And I go and I'm like, all right, I got my dreams laid out. And he gives me the best answer in the world. No. I said, oh my gosh, like here I am. This makes no sense because this was a mentor for me. This was my wife's dad. And obviously we eventually got married. I just gave you the cat's out of the bag. We got married. But in that moment, what was so crazy was he told me a no and I wasn't expecting it. And it hit me, right? And isn't it so funny? Like rejection can put you in a space where one word, one email, one decision, one text, one thing will make you question your entire future. Like everything that I had dreamed about, everything that I thought was going to happen was like, yeah, that ain't happening that way. So it really put me in a space where rejection was real. And I just think about as we as leaders navigated, you may have never been told no, right? But
Wait, let me meet the leader who's never
yeah.
been told no.
Let me come back for that because actually you may have never been told no by your father-in-law, right? Or the future father-in-law. But all of us have experienced a no, a real no. And I think that was one of those no's that really set me on a different course.
Right.
Because it actually, from that rejection, it actually led to a reinvention. It led to what I would call a resurrection where I had to do some soul searching.
Yeah.
I had to do some real questions because his reason for saying no was not because I wasn't a good guy.
Right.
He told me that very clearly. His reason for saying no was because I didn't actually have a plan. Here, I'm going to take his daughter and say, yeah, I'm just going to, hopefully sell her like snake oil or something like that. No, it's like he wanted to know, what are you doing? Like, what's next? What do you actually want from this?
Did he tell you why he was saying no?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
The reason he said no, he said, it's not that I don't like you. It's not that you're a bad guy. You're a good guy. It's that you need some more development. And that was the piece of like, oh, okay. So now as a leader looking back, the rejection was formation.
Yeah.
It actually was necessary.
So the rejection actually turned out to be the best thing for you.
I
think, so we're all going to face rejection, right?
Yep.
And so how do we go from thinking that rejection is failure to actually it's part of the journey to success?
Part of the journey. It's necessary.
Give me this.
Yeah.
He says no.
Yeah.
What's going on? What's the story?
Yeah.
Because we all tell ourselves a story
Yeah.
when we get rejected.
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
story that you start telling yourself?
So when he said no, two things happened. I said, "Man, well, I'm not marrying this girl. I don't need to." Like, I
You
remember.
didn't tell her that though,
No,
right?
no, I didn't. I never. The thing is, my wife never even knew until afterwards. I think we had been in marriage for a while, or it was sometime afterwards. I told her that he said no.
Right.
I never told her that because I, for some reason, maybe that was just, intuition. I don't know what it was, but I didn't think she needed to know that. But in the moment, it was one of those things where it was like, all right, this hurts. This hurts deep. I began to question my own worth, my own value. And I'm like, all right, I'm a good guy, but like I've been with this woman for 3 years, and I've been doing this, and I'm trying to be honorable. So I started to immediately go into some anger. At some point, it was like rejection led to this sense. Okay, man, I didn't need to even ask you for her hand. Like I'm a grown man. What do you mean? Like I could do whatever I want. Like that was the thought behind it. Then the other part was just the deep hurt of like, dang, man, I'm messing up again.
Wow.
Like it was this. Dag, I'm a failure. That's the language. It's the story of the rejection tells the story of I'm not enough.
Right.
Rejection makes you want to believe the lie, that story of I'm not good enough.
Right.
This will never happen because my dreams were shattered at that point.
Right.
I had just assumed I'm a good guy. Mm-hmm. I've got good plans, or so I thought.
Right.
I'm doing good things.
Treating her well.
I'm treating her well.
Right.
So good things should happen.
Right.
Right? Not knowing that rejection was a part of the journey.
Good things should happen as we think.
As I thought it should happen. The desired, like, oh, it should go this way.
Right.
So, yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, rejection is unavoidable, right? But how? So, okay, if that's true, and we're thinking about on the leadership journey, the experiences of rejection. And what I'm hearing you say, which I totally resonate with, is that immediately you started questioning your own self-worth,
Of course.
everything that was going on. And so rejection, in a way, revealed maybe some things that you were holding on to too tightly anyway.
Yeah, that's good, man.
And I don't want us to get into like, let's just throw rose-colored glasses on it.
Yeah.
Because that's real. That hurt was real, and you needed to process that. And I think sometimes we're so focused on taking the hill that we don't stop and tend to the wounds, right? And it's like, hey, we could pause.
Yep.
We could lament. We can think that through. But this too could be worked for good, right? Like it doesn't have to stop there. So I think let's try and pull that apart. What do we need to know? What do we need to understand about rejection? Because we've all felt it.
Yeah.
That would help us. That would help it actually become redemptive or part of it.
Yeah.
What do you think? Give me one thing. What do you think?
Yeah, I think as we look at rejection, right, it is the sense that you said it, rejection is a part of the journey. But I think that a part of our desire is we all have an idea of the good life. Right. This good life, whatever that good life is, the language is like your telos, whatever my telos, my telos. Here's what I'm expecting my life to look like.
Right.
And so when you start with that expectation, you don't really have an idea of how it's actually going to be. Right? Anybody knows that started anything. You start something and it's going to be harder than you ever imagined. Right. It's going to take longer than you ever thought. Always. It's going to require more than you ever, dreamed about.
Check this out. The people that you thought were going to be there might not necessarily be there. That's like,
right? And it's mind blowing. And so there was something, so the way in which I think kind of taking a step back was rejection begins to expose things. And I think what it did for me was that it exposed something that I truly wasn't ready for.
Right.
I wasn't ready for it because that no actually showed me, oh man, I'm a lot more insecure than I thought I was. Right. That no exposed the fact that here I am about to say yes or want to marry this woman and make this really definite and a really serious and a really sobering decision for my life. Right. Because your life partner really determines your life work and however your life would work out. And so I'm about to say yes to this, not really knowing what the cost would be. Right. And so I think rejection gives us a moment to step back and say, man, what's really going on with me?
Yeah.
Why am I really wanting this? What is it about it?
Right.
If that makes sense.
No, here's what I'm hearing, that your reaction to rejection exposes what's going on beneath the surface, right? Or maybe what we hold
That's good.
most dear.
That's so good.
I feel that, I submitted a proposal recently and heard, not even directly, which is interesting to think about, is your father-in-law actually told you why he was rejecting you.
Yeah.
In my experience, I don't ever get a reason. I mean, not never, but it's like, they just stopped answering. They just said no.
Yeah.
Well, I heard through the grapevine that they said the price was too high. And I didn't even get a conversation. But immediately I was thinking about this work I was hoping to do with this organization. Yeah. And I went into the same thing. I went into, maybe I don't really know what I'm doing. Or,
right.
Man, I totally messed that whole thing up. But you know what happened is I recognized that underneath the surface, I was being a good guy, leading well, presenting things well. And I thought that would immediately get the result that I expected. Rather than hearing, oh, wait, actually, you should only close 30% of your proposals. I'm like, well, okay. But, the heart thing, the heart thing happened quick. But here's the piece I'm kind of chewing on now. And I'm wondering, in your experience working with leaders, I learned the truth is it wasn't a good proposal.
There it is.
I gave one option.
There it is.
Because that was a conversation we had. Yeah. And I learned that. And so I feel like one of the beautiful things about rejection that is there for ours for the taking is, all right, how do we clean, adjust our side of the street and learn from, right? Yeah. Because normally it's like, oh, there's something wrong with my father-in-law. Well, there's something wrong with that CEO. Or there's something wrong with...
Rejection teaches you, it matures you enough, right, to teach you responsibility and ownership, right? Just the sense that I don't... It's not the other person's fault.
Right.
I've got to own some of that. I've got to own my responsibility. Right. I love this. So my father-in-law gave me this gem. I never forgot it. Responsibility, right? It's my ability to respond. It is my ability to respond. And so a part of owning it is saying, this wasn't the best proposal. This wasn't the best ask at this time. Like I need to come with a little bit more, insight. What I've learned through rejection is rejection is not final, right? I love that. Failure is not final, but it's feedback. It's something that says, okay, I need to grow in this area. I'll give you another example instead of the marriage proposal that went bad, right? It was I've had a few of them, but like you, man, I remember recently having a phone call with someone and it was really good. It was just like, great. Oh, we're making moves. This is going to be a great, look, I'm going to jump off and we're going to do this and we're going to do all this work together. I'm going to add value to you. And I'm using all the language. He's using all the language and we're going back and forth. And I send him a proposal, the same, but like I exceeded his expectations in my mind. Sent him a proposal, and I haven't heard from him since.
Yep.
That was 2 months ago, and so I've been reaching out since then. Like, hey, nothing. And so I agree with you that sometimes we don't get the no of rejection. We don't get the verbal like, no, here's why, but we do get the silence. And I think sometimes silence feels like rejection, but you and I have been in sales that silence isn't necessarily rejection. Right?
I think one of the keys to handling rejection well is to take the long view. Right? We really get hurt by rejection in the short term because we wanted this thing and then we even asked for it, which is vulnerable, and then we got told no or silence. Or the long view says we got told not yet. And sometimes it's no, never. That's cool too. But even with your father-in-law, right? Like that was actually a not yet. And when people don't answer, people don't respond, I like to think, oh, that means no. But actually it just means not yet. So how do we, if we can take the long view on rejection, I think that we won't waste what's there, the feedback to be mined, the growth to be had. and be so crippled by the short-term pain.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
Right.
It's normal. It's just a normal process of living that you've got to have some things stripped away. Right. You've got to have some things that are refined. And I think that's the beauty of it, right? It's this beauty that we accept it in every other environment.
Sure.
But when it comes to our leadership, when it comes to the people we're dealing with, when it comes to our organizations, we just assume that somehow we're exempt.
Right.
And I think that rejection on a heart level makes you humble. All right. It offers humility. It offers empathy. It offers a sense of, oh, I get that. So now I can sit in two things I got. Now with 3 daughters, I can understand where my father-in-law was coming from.
Yeah. Perspective. Right?
I've got perspective. And it's given me empathy to understand his side of the story, but it also given me empathy to understand when the young man that comes to my door is to say, hey, let me.
How's this gonna sit?
Let me help you.
Yeah.
Let me help you navigate some of this, right? And it's also given me empathy in my work to say I know what rejection feels like. Numerous rejections throughout my life. I know what it feels like. So I also know. Here's another thing for a leader. I also know when someone's experiencing it.
Right.
Like, and I think that that's important for us to be reading the room enough to say, oh, that didn't land well with that person.
Right.
Yikes. The way I communicated that wasn't what I was intending. But I do want you to get the heart of it. But the way I said it hit you in a place that I didn't intend. Right. In fact, years later, just kind of closing that bubble, years later, my father-in-law came back and he apologized. He said, man, that's not how I saw you. Right. Like I when I said no, it wasn't like to shoot you down. Right. It wasn't, not yet. It was, he said, but I was navigating, I've got 6 daughters and I'm trying to do this and I'm holding this and I'm not. So he said, man, that wasn't my intent. So now as a leader, I've got the benefit of that experience to say, okay, when I sit down across the table with someone, I need to be aware of this empathy of like, how are they taking this? Right. What's going on?
So that kind of flips it, right?
Yeah.
So now, okay, we can talk about how we receive rejection. And I think it's important to talk about our reaction to rejection. Do we immediately push outward and we point blame, some of the anger you were talking about? Do we turn inward and all of a sudden our identity is crushed because it was in this thing? It's probably a bit of both. Yeah. But how as leaders do what we can't do as leaders is never reject anyone.
That's right.
I heard this.
That's right.
I heard this quote that being an adult is saying no. Yep. Right? And if you really have something important entrusted to your care, then you're going to have to say no, and people are going to take that as rejection. So I think the question would be, okay, if those tables are flipped, how do we deliver rejection in a way? Yeah. And one thread I was hearing you pull on is this idea that we need to be clear that we are not rejecting the person, but just what they're proposing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's so good. Yeah.
What else? What else?
Because it's I think it's John Townsend, Henry Cloud, Boundaries. Right. And so
I still have yet to read. And
dude,
I feel guilty about
it. Hey, don't feel guilty. It's a great book, and you can find it anywhere, right? You can find a summary of it. Right. But one of the things they mention is this conversation of boundaries, because that can lead to a different space. But boundaries are fences and not walls. Right. I think that it's important for us to understand fences versus walls. Walls say, hey, you ain't never getting in here. Yeah. Something's wrong with you. I don't want you in here. Right. I need my personal space. Don't do this. Yeah. Where a fence says, hey, here are the areas that I have to now protect, or I want to make sure that, are mine or my domain or whatever. And if you want to come in, here's the entrance to the fence. Come on in. Yeah. But the wall says you ain't never getting in. Yeah. The fence says, no, if you walk through this area, if you do this, here's that. And the fence also gives you the sense of, here's what I'm protecting. I think that we've got to understand as we communicate it more, what am I actually valuing? Right? How that's the piece. You have to say no. So a fence says you can't just do this on my property. Right. You can't just have your way on my property. Right. But it also says if you want to come in, Here's the way to come in.
Right.
Right. So what I don't want is somebody who is going to try to climb over the wall, because if you're climbing over the wall, then what you're telling me is that you're an intruder, and you now need like forceful action to get you out of here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where the fence says, "Oh, I didn't realize that was there." Okay, cool. Well, let me show you.
Yeah. Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm hearing, because now I'm thinking there's a difference, right? Let's say we're leading our own team, the people entrusted to our care, whether it's volunteers, staff, or even your own family, right? So we have this idea, okay, we want to make sure we're communicating that we're not rejecting the person, just what they're proposing.
Correct.
But then at the same time, like, we do want to help them understand, like, okay, this was rejected.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
This was rejected, and maybe if you came this way, maybe there's an opportunity here. It's not a wall, it's a fence. I mean, I really think that, because then it also gives people some agency.
Yep.
Right? Because to be rejected, especially when someone has all the authority, what does that breed? Some helplessness. And not to get too deep, but like trauma is the experience of helplessness, right? And whatever. I don't want to dive into that whole, but
it's another episode.
It's a whole nother episode. What I do think though is that, in our own, I'm thinking about your father-in-law. In our own busyness as leaders, the tyranny of the urgent, we can say no. Yeah. What's going on in me? Well, sometimes what's going on in me when I say no, and I don't say it in a way that maybe could be received well, is I'm overwhelmed. So you trying to add something to my plate? Boom. No. Yep. And now we just crushed arguably the most important piece of the organization, which would be the people. Yeah. And we didn't even point them towards
what's the mission? What's the
And it isn't even, people talk about like the sandwich, right? Like say a good thing, say a bad thing, and then say a good thing.
Another episode. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but can we also just be people that are always pointing people toward like a more hopeful future? Yeah. Yeah. Rather than just kind of cutting it now.
Absolutely.
If you'll stop.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love the ideas. You're teaching people how to treat you. And I love the idea that we have this learned helplessness, right? I think Cloud and Townsend talk about that, but that's it's a really common thing that we have learned helplessness. And what happens in this learned helplessness is that I become a victim in this situation. Right. So there is power dynamic and everything else, but and as a leader, I need to be aware of that. I need to be aware that my words carry weight. Right, like that's the piece that we have to understand. I could really go on a tangent on that. That you say something so simple, right, and what you thought was just no. This person thought it was the shattering of all of who they are. Like
you're no good. Yeah, you don't belong here.
Yeah,
you're not gonna make a difference.
Because I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking to your identity now. Right. So anyways, you've got to understand that, okay, there's a sense that no makes sense, but going back, man, you get me going on tangents now, man. I'm like trying to get back to my point, because it's the sense of you've got to understand no, but I don't want to know and communicate in a way that hurts others. But I do need to now understand that if I'm the one receiving the no, I've got to also understand that there's a sense of learned helplessness, that I don't have to be the victim in this circumstance. Right. No just means that I need to do some more learning.
Right. All right. So let's take this two-part. Let's start here. If you're given rejection, and help me.
Yeah, this is good, man. I'm writing stuff down now.
No, I lost my pen. If you're given rejection, you want to communicate that you're not rejecting the person, just what they're proposing. Okay. I think obviously we can get into how you say it. As important as what you say. We need to be mindful. Yep. Then we don't want to leave people at no. Yep. We want to point them toward what's next. Yep. Right. How do they cross that threshold from this was a rejection. Yep. And now we go from there. What else would you add to? And then we'll kind of flip the table. What else would you add to? All right, you're given the rejection. There's a leader listening right now, and they know that they got a proposal for a project, and that person put hours into that project, and it's not going to fly. Yeah. The budget got pulled, or it just isn't a good idea, whatever. They're going to their office. How do they do it?
Yeah, I think that You've got to obviously get clear on who you are. Have some healthy reminders of who you are and what you came to do. But I think one thing that I've been learning lately is what solves most of the problems in any business is prospecting, right? Like it is the sense of what solves the problem in my speaking business is another speech. Somebody's going to get, if I can find someone that'll pay me, okay, great. So let's take it back to my father-in-law's example.
Okay.
What solved the problem was prospecting. And that didn't mean, let me go look for another girl, right? Like, let me clear that up.
Well, hold on.
Delete. No, no. What that meant was, let me go find the better version of me. Let me go find what does work. So what that meant was, let me go back to the drawing board. Let me go back to going after what I came to do to begin with. So what I came to do to begin with was, I really love this woman. And I was like, man, I want to go deeper in this relationship.
Right.
So I wasn't going to let this no stop me from going deeper in this relationship. So what I did was, okay, cool. I had my frustration, I had my anger. I found one of my boys at the time. He was actually the best man at my wedding. And we just talked and he gave me some coaching because I wanted to keep going. I kept going after. Okay. So I kept taking her out on dates. I kept showing up. I started coming up with more of a plan. And so I kept prospecting. I kept getting back out there to get to my initial goal.
Right.
And so what I find with leaders is that when you have that rejection, that was January 2028. By May 2028, I got a call from my father-in-law saying, hey, it's a yes.
Wow.
So you follow what I'm saying? Like, so because
Yeah.
I had gotten back out there, like I didn't. So for a leader, the goal is get back out there. Keep moving. Like the idea is find someone else.
Right.
If in this business context,
Right.
find someone else that says, who actually wants what I have? I know I'm offering value.
Right.
Who wants it? In a relationship, it's not just find someone else. It's find who you really are.
Right.
Go back to prospecting. Why did I get into this? Right. Maybe that's really the answer, JC. For me, it's go back to the why.
Right.
Go back to the why.
Yeah.
And say, okay, am I really living this up to the best of my ability?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go back to that then.
Well, I like that. So that is flipping the table. So now we received a rejection, right? And okay, what do we do? Well, we need to take an inventory of how we reacted.
Yeah.
What's going on beneath the surface.
Yeah.
The rejection created the reaction. Why?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then we need to go into, okay, why am I even doing this in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I also think there's a piece of why or what could I have done better, right? To take that inventory.
Yeah.
But you also brought up the fact that we don't do that on an island, right? We have this idea of a leader or in any space of, oh, I got to go out and do it and it's got to be me.
Yeah.
And yes, and we do this with a team, right? Leadership is a team sport.
Yeah.
So I like how you talk to your best man, who you didn't know was going to be your best man because you didn't even know you're going to have a reason to have a best man.
Yeah.
And processed it.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes the committee in my head,
Oh yeah, it's loud.
man, it's got some stories.
Oh, yeah.
About who I am and what I'm worth and what I could do. And then I feel like maybe the last piece in that is Ryan Leake wrote. I think the book title was Chasing Failure.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, and so I started having those conversations. And when I got that proposal back recently, and I was kind of put a lot of time into it, I was like, man. And my wife Noelle was like, "Hey, chasing failure." So almost reorienting, shifting the mindset that rejection. If I'm not getting rejected,
I'm not in it.
I'm doing it wrong.
That's it.
I'm doing it wrong if
That's
I'm not
it.
getting rejected.
That's it.
And I need to learn from each rejection.
Yeah.
It's going to reveal some things in me. So this rejection too won't be wasted.
Yeah, that's so good. I almost, I know we got to close because I'm thinking like, if I'm not doing it, it means that I am not doing it, right? Like if I'm not experiencing rejection, it means that I've done a lot more spending my time getting information on ChatGPT and a lot more time spending my, let me build this website, which is so good, right?
Yeah.
Like you need to have the website, you need to have those things. But the reality is what I need to be doing in my business, I need to make the phone call.
Yes.
I need to actually build relationships. That's the piece
Right.
that I'm learning in this season is what's going to help me get out of this space is another relationship.
Yes.
That's it. So that's the prospecting. I need to actually talk to someone else.
Right.
I need to get more insight. I need relationship.
Wow, that's crazy. The relationship between you and your father-in-law that felt threatened, the relationship between you and Ashley. The solution to that was to go to another relationship and hear that. Man, I'm thinking this would be my closing thought, is that 80-20 rule. 80% of our results come from 20% of our efforts. Yeah. And I'm convinced after just talking with you, I was thinking about this, that 20% is the 20% where we experience rejection. Yeah. That we will get 80% of our results from 20% of our work.
That's it.
And that's in the work that we're getting, that we're getting rejected.
That's it, man. I'll just close that, rejection is real, but it ain't final, right? Failure isn't final. It's just feedback.
Wow, that's good. So what's the one thing? Give us an invitation here. What are we doing this week?
I think as we think about this crossing the threshold, I want to encourage you as a leader to go after one thing. One thing, the thing that rejection made you hesitate, do it. So make the phone call, send the email, go ask for her hand in marriage, whatever it is. Like, go do that one thing that rejection has caused you to hesitate on.
That's good. We're going to have a bunch of married people at the end of this
podcast.
Hey,
man, that's the goal.
All right. That's good, man. That's good.
Man. Good. Thanks for watching Crossing the Threshold with James Wilson Jr. and JC Fowler. If this helped you take a step forward, like, subscribe, and share it with another mission-driven leader navigating their own threshold moment. Until next time, keep moving forward with courage